Alright, so I ran out of time for the last video, but this is going to be part 2. So, some more poses and stuff we can do with waves. Like I was saying in the last video, I don't know if I ran out of time for this pose I was doing, but we had our hand on our head. So this was like, just saying we can like do some snaking and stuff like that, or we can like start to wave, or we could like take this wave, manipulate the shape around, turn our head, and then start waving. And I was saying like we can use the rolls and stuff like that too, right? So we have a lot of different ways we can wave. Even from here, we can like start to trace the shapes down, because it all comes from this position, right? So that's the first thing I was showing you in the last video when the video kind of ended, right? The next is just some random positions we're going to try, just like some random poses. So let's take a position like this. Can you wave from here? Both our hands seem kind of stuck, right? Well, I think you can wave from here. So first thing I would try is like tracing, obviously. I would be like, maybe like trying to like, maybe see how I can like lift my leg up with this. Like start a wave, then I'll start to trace the wave down, and then I would try and like trace the wave down like this, and then manipulate the leg. Okay, so that's how I would start the wave from here, and then maybe I'll be like trying to push the elbow down and manipulate the shape even more. Maybe come to the other side, trace the wave up to my shoulder, wave down again, maybe try to push the knees out like this, and then do some threading or something. Maybe come back to this position here, and then see how we can move this shape around. Alright, so we noticed that there's a lot of different stuff we can do from the most awkward positions. We can also like start to move this shape around, right, with the waves. So it's all about manipulating shapes a little bit, but also like not going too far out of that same concept as well. So if you go out of the concept, you may want to bring it back to that same point, just so people know, okay, that's where it starts and ends or something. But yeah, so position like this, like I was saying, we can manipulate the elbow because that elbow joint is kind of free to move around. It's here. Whether it's like here, you can push it down. The elbow point can like definitely change. It can change like this. Up, we can move this point around. Our legs can kind of do some of the work here. Right, so what's another random position that seems very difficult to wave in? Let me think. Okay, I think it'd be pretty hard to wave maybe when our body's all tied up, right? Like this. Can you wave like this? Absolutely. This is already like a threading position. So we could like start the wave this time from like our feet, and then we can like maybe start to move this point around, right? Whoop. Maybe behind our back. So this is already like a little bit more difficult, but it's like we're playing around with these points, right, to see, okay, how can we start to wave? Oops, I messed that up, but get the idea. I'm just exploring the possibilities from all these positions. So when we're in a position like this, we may have a harder time in waving because of our limited movement. We don't have as much movement, right? So we could try stuff with the knees, right? Like from here. We could move this knee around and then start to move this knee around and then maybe thread and then the thread, and then thread back through. Maybe we start to move this knee around, come back to this position. Maybe come back around, start to thread. So that's another way we can wave from that pose. So pretty much you get the idea, any position can be waved in. It's just exploring movement and then seeing how to actually create that wave shape. So like I said, you have to think outside the box of what a wave actually is. I'll give you an example. So it's pretty hard to wave in some tutting shapes because tutting shapes are like very straight lines, right? So we have to really like think, okay, what is a wave now? Like, really challenge your idea of what you think a wave is, because a wave can be lines, right? So you might want to do some rolls to create waves. You may want to like start doing what I was doing here, like flipping and stuff to create waves, or turning to create waves. So an example of like a turning wave, like it looks like a wave, right? But all I'm doing is just turning and flipping my wrists. With this, I could take the same concept, straight arms, right? Without the tuts. And then start to create like a waving shape, like even like this. See? Start to create like this wave. Just with a straight arm. And just by moving the body around into like some weird positions, you can start to create like waving shapes, right? Okay, so this is all like waving, but it's just like thinking of waves in a different way now. So now we're like more free to move around. We're not stuck in the idea of a wave has to be like this with the hands. Because even an arm wave like this can be done differently. Like we could wave sideways, right? So we're doing side, side, boom. Right? So we can even do like rolls. Our wrists can like roll, 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 roll. When you put it together, it's like a wave, right? So roll, 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 roll. You can roll and stuff. So a wave is not just this. It's rolls, it's circles, it can even be squares, if that makes sense. So give you an example, right? So when I was doing this in the last video, right? It's pretty much like one corner, the other corner, and then like this is like a square shape, right? Left, right, down, across. So we're forming this square shape as well, but that is still like a wave. Another way we can do it is like this. So we can form a square like this now. So now we're waving in like a square shape, aren't we? So that's a square. Another way we can do waves is also like with our lines and stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is the lines here, and it's like a very squared shape. Even if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So these are waves still. Like these are more like tidal waves now. Woof, woof. But then we can turn the tidal wave on the side and get that square shape, right? And then we can start adding dimensions with that. Right? So even we want to take a wave like this, up, down, and now we're like in and out. So these are like more lines. Another example is like wave touch, for example. I show this all the time, but when we're in like tutting positions as well, these are also like waves, wave, 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 wave. And something I learned from Callie was the way she does her boxes, where she might do a box like this, turn, and then turn like this. So across, down, across, down, turn, across, down, turn. So when you do it quickly, it's like this waving motion, right? Oops. So I'll show you again. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm doing from here is like 1, 2, rotating, and then this is where the turn has to come in, right? So the turn's a little bit confusing here, but we have to form this box and turn, and you can get a wave out of it from a position you probably didn't think you could really wave from, right? But we can do all these waves and stuff from tutting positions too. Like even this, we can create a wave from these tutting positions, right? Because of the ability to use the lines and stuff with waves. So the next kind of thing I'll teach you is more about like wave tuts. It's also tracing the lines with the tut as well. So we could have like an angle like this, and then we can just like straight up just start to trace these lines, right? Boom, flip, down, flip, boom, flip, boom. Maybe change the angle this time. Up, cross, up, down, here, boom, boom. Now let's try it again. Let's try trace the back of this line. And then maybe come down this time. Trace in this angle. Let's try trace this line. Boom. Now let's try and trace the body line. Boom. Wave across. Now trace this line. Okay? Boom. So we can always do waves from any position, whether it's tracing the shape, whether it's like manipulating that shape around a lot to create waves, whether it's like holding a position like this, a fixed point without moving our hands at all, right? And just trying to like create this wave with our body, like without moving our hands, right? And our body's just doing all the work for us while our hands are still, right? Boom, boom, pa, boom, pa, boom, pa, boom, pa, boom. So this is more like fixed point, like moving the body around the wave, right? Around the point. Got my words confused a little bit, but I hope you get the idea. So fixed point, move your body around the point. Then obviously move that point around like I was doing, like with this, or like manipulating the shape a little bit, sending that shape in and out of the body. Boom, pop, boom, pop, boom, boom. Or like I said, tracing the shape, maybe doing this wave within a shape. Boom. Or doing the wave in the shape like this. Boom. So there's so many different options we can do. Like I showed you in the start, the legs as well. The legs could really like start to take on their own waving shape, and then we can like start to trace. Oh, 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 Okay, you get the idea. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And if there's any other poses you want to know how to wave from, let me know, because this can be done in literally any pose in the body, even like something ridiculous that you didn't think you could really like wave from. Like if you can, I've seen people get this leg over their head, start to trace, they end up in a shape like this, and then they can like use like threading and stuff like that. So thread over your head and then continue the waves and stuff like that, guys. So peace out, hope that helps.